Hey guys, it's Sam here, and this afternoon there has been some big news coming out of Liverpool, and that is the FSG have apparently put up the club for sale. I want to start by reading the statement. So the statement says there have been a number of recent changes of ownership and rumours of changes in ownership at EPL clubs, and inevitably we are asked regularly about Fenway Sports Group's ownership in Liverpool. FSG has frequently received expressions of interest from third parties seeking to become shareholders in Liverpool. FSG has said before that under the right terms and conditions we would consider new shareholders if it was in the best interests of Liverpool as a club. FSG remains fully committed to the success of Liverpool both on and off the pitch. So, there are a few things in there that are hopefully a good thing. The main one is that they aren't the most loved ownership, let's say. There are very contrasting feelings in Liverpool surrounding FSG. Some people like them, some people don't like them, some people really don't like them, and some people are sort of in the middle. They can see the good side and they can see the bad side of them. So it's very, very difficult when it comes to speaking about FSG. One of the main things in this is that it does say that they're willing to bring in new shareholders under the right terms and conditions, which they also said at the end of that is in the best interests of Liverpool as a club. So, what it could be interpreted in two different ways. They're willing to bring in a larger shareholder and still have ties with Liverpool, like bringing someone to be the main force of sort of financial backing, we should say, and they can sort of switch it up, like some teams do. They have multiple shareholders in a club. It could be that, or it could mean they want to completely just hand over the ownership of the club, which, if it's that, the reported figure is about 3.6 billion. Which, the only problem with that is that the only people that are really going to pay 3.6 billion, that have 3.6 billion just to splash on buying a club, is an oligarch. Like a Man City, PSG and Newcastle's owners. The problem with that is a lot of them don't share the same values of Liverpool as a club, which is completely wrong, and we don't want that. So the fact that they're saying within the best interests is that hopefully they will sell to a person or a company that does share the same values and has the same interests as Liverpool, that aren't going to have the fans sort of worried, because there are a few out there right now that are happy, but there are a few, like myself, that are not worried but sort of have a few feelings, like a few little problems, like of who could own the club. Because the main thing that FSG have done wrong is not backing Jurgen Klopp. Clearly, you know, with the amount of success that we've had over the last few years, we haven't really spent a lot. Like, the net spend isn't great. It's usually some of the worst in the, in the Premier League. Like, clubs that end up getting relegated are usually spending more money than Liverpool, which shouldn't be happening, especially when we're at the top. We're challenging. We're like, if we just have a few more, if you just put a bit more money into the pot and, get a few players, add a bit more depth, quality depth that is, then we could win more titles, we could win more trophies, we would make that extra step. I feel like this could be an important, the biggest moment in FSG's 10 years Liverpool ownership of as owners, is making sure that their successor is someone that is right for the club, like they've said. The problem is, if someone comes in from, let's say, let's just say that someone comes in from the Middle East that has plenty of billions to spend and just throws in a ridiculous sum and goes, do you know what? Like, goes in the negotiation, they go 3.6 billion, they're like, not really sure, and they go, do you know what? Fuck it, 4. Let's just chuck 4 at you. Is it going to change? Like, is it going to change their mindset? Are they going to see the 4 billion and go, we're going to take them more money and run with it, and then just leave, and like, it's your problem now? Or are they actually going to stick to their word and go, do you know what? No, you don't have the same values, and, this isn't going to go down well with the fans. We're going with someone that has values, that is going to share the same principles as the club and the fans, and that, it makes sense, if you get me. That is the only problem, because obviously since the Newcastle takeovers happened, a lot has come out about, how things are done in particularly Saudi Arabia, where their owners are from, and or at least the company is. I don't fully know. That could be the things that are coming out aren't great, let's say, and the fact that it's a lot to do with human rights and everything like that, and fans sort of not agreeing with that, and it does really put a lot of sting into it, that the fact people who really couldn't care less about Newcastle under Mike Ashley, they get this, they find out what's going on in Saudi Arabia, or they already know what's going on, and then they start turning and going, this is completely wrong. You know, this is not acceptable. This shouldn't be happening. And, you know, you can't... They shouldn't be allowed to own, you know, a Premier League club or whatever. I don't want that at Liverpool. So, hopefully they do make the right decision in that they will only sell to a person that is right for the club. That's the gist of it. We got there in the end, it was too long. But the main thing with this would be, you know, whatever your opinions or views on FSG are, there is no doubt that FSG are leaving Liverpool in a better place than when they bought it. You know, 12 years ago was a nightmare for Liverpool. It was... we had had, you know, the massive problems with Hicks and Gillette. They had ran the club into the ground. Didn't give a toss about the club really. And made countless of mistakes and just didn't really care. And it caused Liverpool to go into mass amounts of debt. And, you know, believe what you want. I believe in the, you know, the articles that came out, like good credible sources from Liverpool, that basically said that we were extremely close to going into administration, which, you know, really would not have been good, because we've seen what going into administration does for a lot of clubs. Recently, Derby, for instance, you know, they hung on by the skin of their teeth. They were extremely close to just gone, you know, no longer existing. Not saying that was going to happen to Liverpool, because I'm sure that if that happened, I'm sure someone would have come in that would have, you know, helped. But the fact is, the fans rallied together. It went to, you know, legal proceedings. Did I say that right? Proceedings? For some reason, it's not sounding right. It's probably not. But, anyway, basically, it was a whole legal problem, and, you know, by law, Hicks and Gillette had to go. They had to sell the club, or they had to give up the club and go. And I think, like I don't know what it was. It was like a, like, sort of like a caretaker owner sort of thing. Just came in and pretty much saw the transaction to FSG. And from when they bought it, we were a shambles of a club from top to bottom. On the pitch was awful. It was horrible. In 12 years, we're now a club that has the best manager we could ever have asked for. An incredibly world-class team that could do with a few little bits, which hopefully they do say, because they did also say that they were. There have been reports suggesting that they are backing Klopp in the next markets, like January and next summer. There's apparently basically they're just going to back him. Hopefully that is true. But obviously, if they find a right buyer, that changes, and hopefully it's alright. Anyway, I'm rambling pretty much because it's still fresh, so we don't know what's going to happen. But from the last part of the statement, FSG remains fully committed to the success of Liverpool both on and off the pitch. So that does sound like they are prepared to give this time, go through as many interests as they want. And this isn't a forced thing, they're not being forced to sell. They don't have to sell by a certain time. They are very much, this is in their ballpark. They can sell whenever they want. The good thing about this is that hopefully they will take the time to make sure that they hand over the club to the right person that is going to be the right person or company for this club, because that is the only way in which we all as fans can be happy with the sale. The biggest thing for them would be to consult the fans, because their last big fuck up was obviously the Super League. They didn't consult the fans. They didn't ask anyone if they thought this was a good idea. They just went with it. They saw the money and went with it. After this all came out and the big backlash, and they pulled out and they made the apology video, I do believe that since then, on matters, they have consulted fans, or at least listened to fans a little bit more. I hope that in something like this, they would not necessarily deliver straight to the fans, but have like a fan group that that represents the club's fan base, that knows the club's fans' wishes and principles and everything like that, and consults them in who they believe a right successor should be. Chances of that happening, I don't know, because they are the owners. They do make that decision. They might just go, we're making this decision, it doesn't matter, because of it. When we sell, we're not part of that club anymore, so we can just go, we'll sell, we hand the keys over, and we're gone, and we can stay in America, and we're done. Like, we don't need, we're not involved anymore. Hopefully that's not the case, because it doesn't sound like it, but then owners will say anything. It's one thing saying it, it's another thing actually doing it. So hopefully it is a good thing for the club, and that if FSG won't back the won't back Klopp, won't give him the finances he needs, then another owner will. And he is hoping that that is what happens. So that's pretty much it. It's unknown who could take over. I'm sure there are plenty of applicants in all over the world that are hoping to buy Liverpool, because it is a big club and it is a very profitable club if you do it in the right way. It can be very profitable, as FSG has found out. But this club, well, this team, should I say, did need a bit more financial backing, and we can't really say Klopp's got that. There's been a few windows where he's got that, a few players where FSG have pulled the strings and gone, alright, 75 mil for Van Dijk, 60 mil, whatever it was, for Alisson, 64 million for Darwin Núñez. It has happened. The thing is, it doesn't happen enough, and we needed more. And hopefully they can bow out on a high of injecting some more money into the squad, backing Klopp, giving him what he needs to succeed, and maybe bowing out with a trophy or two, and maybe bowing out with another league, because this could take a while. And if they are really committed, then they've been committed to Liverpool. Is it that they've brought in more fans because they've redeveloped Anfield? They developed the main stand. They're now in development, or almost complete development of another stand. It's all Liverpool has been a successful purchase for FSG. They have put money into making the club better. Could they have put more money in? Yes, of course. By the whole net spend. It's very low. I think I saw something that since we won the Champions League in 2019, our pretty much average net spend is something like 23 million, which is mental for a club of Liverpool size. That it just shows what sort of a great manager Jurgen Klopp is. The fact that he's been able to win these trophies with sort of having to do it on a budget. Yes, we have more money than lower clubs, that's obvious, but the fact is that where we have been, the success that's also he's brought, you would expect that there'd be a lot more money being pumped into the club by FSG. That's just not happened, and maybe this season has made them realise that this whole self-sustainable sell-to-buy market isn't really working anymore, because of these oligarchs, and the fact that these clubs have so much money and spend so much money that it's hard to compete with them when you're sort of trying the sell to buy market. It just can't work for a big club that wants to challenge for trophies, and hopefully it's passed on to a club that will back Jurgen Klopp, but will also have some of the FSG qualities, like giving them time, because the one good thing you could say about FSG is they have given managers time. Brendan Rodgers probably got more time than he deserved, but they still gave him time, they still backed him. They've backed Jurgen Klopp in the sense that they believe in him, they believe he's the right man, and they haven't, when it's gone wrong, just gone, right, we'll get someone else in. They have given him time. I would like the next owner, whenever that will be, to give managers time, because I don't want to be a Watford or a Chelsea under Abramovich, where the minute it started going wrong, they just sacked the managers left, right and centre. I don't like that. I like when a manager gets given time. If you sign a 3-year contract, you're signing on for a 3-year project, basically. How can, in a few months of that 3-year contract, can you then sack him if it doesn't start well? You're not backing him, it's not a good thing. So I really hope they will back, managers and give them time, like FSG have, and hopefully, whenever this may be, that this ends up being a really good thing for Liverpool, and that it just propels us on and we become, even more successful. That is it, pretty much. Only happened within, the last hour or two, so there's not really a lot at the minute we know. Just the basics. So thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please leave a like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.